Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Crime Center. This is Jay. I want to thank all the people who have subscribed for coming back, watching another video. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Each and every one of you are the GOAT. I appreciate you supporting me. So, today's video is a lot of things. Very sad is one of them, but also hopefully very hopeful. There's this boy, Elijah Vue. I don't know how many people have heard of him. If you're like me, I don't watch the news that much because it's just full of sad interactions with humankind. But he's a 3-year-old boy who's been missing for 10 days from a Two Rivers apartment in Wisconsin. So I have a bunch of bullet points written down. I didn't come up with any pre planned script as to what I was going to say. This really just pisses me off, honestly. It's sad, but it gets you angry because it's unnecessary. It's not needed. So, the information that I've gathered so far, for those of you who haven't heard of this, is they're searching for this boy in rivers, shores, and dump sites around Two Rivers. Today, they just expanded the search to urban and rural neighborhoods. They got dive teams and canine teams checking and rechecking various areas. So today the police asked for help. They asked for the public to help them look for this little boy. Of course, for those that live in Manawak, if you don't live in that area, then I'm not sure there's much you can do unless you know somebody who knows somebody. But a list of things that they suggest the public does is search your individual properties for any kind of places where a kid can hide, fall, or get trapped in. Look for items you don't recognize, such as red and white plaid blanket or dinosaur printed shoes. That's what he had on when he went missing. If you're the people that have surveillance cameras or ring doorbells, they suggest you look at your surveillance footage from February 12th until the 20th for anyone matching Elijah's description. They're also asking to search public lands for the same items or anything relevant to the case. Of course, do not touch anything that you find. That would be evidence, and it doesn't need to be tainted with. Immediately contact the tip line, which is 1-844 267 6648. Or you could also contact Two Rivers Police at 920 686 7200. So I don't know if I'm about to pronounce this right, but the police have reported that Elijah is Hong and white ethnicity. It's spelled Hmong. If anybody knows how to pronounce that word, put it down in the comments so that way I can get it right for future reference. The little boy has dark brown hair, brown eyes, approximately 3 feet tall, and he has a birthmark on his left knee. He was last seen wearing gray pants, dark colored long sleeve shirt. They didn't specify, they just said dark colored. Red and green dinosaur slip on shoes. And of course, he had the red and white plaid blanket with him. Anyone with information that leads to Elijah or to the arrest of anyone involved or responsible for his disappearance could be eligible to receive $1,000 from Manawak County and $15,000 that the FBI is offering, for a total of $16,000. Now, I know a lot of people are not going to be worried about that reward money, but just so you're aware, if you have any information, you could get that reward money. So, Elijah was reported missing by his mother's boyfriend, Jesse Vang. Vang is now in custody and he's charged with child neglect. Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, has also been charged with child neglect. Elijah's mother allegedly sent the boy to her boyfriend for disciplinary reasons, Wisconsin authorities reported. Elijah was last seen around 8 a.m. on February 20th. Katrina Bauer, 31, was arrested 2 days after the boy was reported missing by Jesse Vang. Vang, 39, was also arrested for child neglect. He was the one who called the police saying he couldn't find Elijah. The mother sent Elijah to the boyfriend for disciplinary concerns, despite being aware of alleged, quote, tactics the man uses. She intentionally sent the child for more than a week while being aware of these tactics used and the use of lack of care. In other words, the dude used really crazy tactics to try to discipline this child, and he had poor care. Like, he wasn't going to take care of that little boy. Why the mom would send her son for a week to this place will later be explained, kind of, but they both give vague reasons, and it sounds like a bunch of excuses to me. So Vang told the police he was helping Bauer correct the child's bad behaviors. Imagine that. Bad behaviors from a 3-year-old. That, I don't know, that just pisses me off, guys. It really does. This child is 3. What bad behaviors could he possibly have for you to use these weird tactics to try and correct him? So Vang said he fell asleep in his room after dropping off his own teenage son at the school bus, and when he woke up, Elijah, who was in the room with him, was now gone. Days before Elijah disappearing, Vang texted Bauer angrily because the child had overfilled his diaper. Those were his words, overfilled. In response, Vang gave him a cold shower. So this 3-year-old, who still has problems using the restroom since he had a diaper on, overfilled it, which means he just did more than you were expecting. And instead of just cleaning the child, you give him a cold shower. That is some bad parenting. That is unnecessary. And that is wild. So, days before Elijah disappearing, Vang texts Bauer. So, they were dumb enough to have this in a text message, knowing that they were already doing things they weren't supposed to. So, Elijah was dropped off at Vang's residence in the 3900 block of Mishicot Road in Two Rivers February 12th and was supposed to return to his mom February 23rd. According to a complaint, Vang told police he would force Elijah to stand for 2 to 3 hours at a time without sitting as punishment and threaten him with cold water. That is, I'm sorry guys, that pisses me off that a 3-year-old child would have to go through that just for being a child. It's heartbreaking and it gets me kind of emotional. Bauer stated to police she was at her primary residence while Elijah was with Vang from February 12th to the 20th. However, location data in her phone showed she was at Vang's February 14th and the 16th and 17th. Bauer later told police she visited Vangs late at night on February 16th and she saw Elijah sleeping on the couch, and she left early the next morning. No details were given about her visit on February 14th, which was Valentine's Day. Her statement and what she told the police compared to phone data are basis for obstructing an officer charges. And I really hope they do that. She and him both deserve everything they got coming if that little boy's not found safe. Vang told police he was helping to correct behaviors but didn't specify what those behaviors were, except that Elijah would, quote, get into things. So they're disciplining this child with these weird tactics just because he gets into things. He's 3. Of course, he's going to get into things. All children get into things. All children use the restroom and Pampers until they're taught not to. And the amount of the restroom that they use shouldn't be basis for them to get punished. Bauer told the police Vang was teaching Elijah to be a man. That's a really weird way to teach a little boy that's 3 how to be a man. Vang said Elijah's time was supposed to be a sort of a boot camp. Those are his own words, boot camp, and that going home was a privilege for him. Vang also told police officers that the boy was scared of him, which makes it even worse. You know that this little boy is scared of you, and you put him in a boot camp, a 3-year-old in a boot camp. That little boy shouldn't be doing anything but being a child, having fun, learning things, not getting punished with cold water, boot camp, and not being able to go home. And for the mother to go along with all this, it's not a privilege to go home for a young child. That's a necessity. The child deserves a home. The child deserves to be taught correctly. And I really hope that they find this little boy alive and well, and all this could get pushed behind us after the mother and stepfather receive the punishment that they should receive. But for some reason, I highly doubt that they don't know what happened to him. And it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out. There's already rumors that he's possibly deceased. And I hope and pray that that is not the case. But I guess we're all just going to have to wait and see. So, one of the main reasons I wanted to do a crime channel was to bring to light the things that are going on in this world. But I've always had the passion to want to do missing persons in hopes that so many people would see my video that someone who knew some information would be able to contact police and help them so they could be alive, healthy. Now I know the chances of that are slim, but the chances of that are also zero if I don't try. So this is my first video of someone that's missing, and I'm hoping that someone out there has some kind of answers for the police. And once again, so you can remember, immediately contact the tip line at 1-844-267-6648 or the Two Rivers Police at 920-686-7200 with any information. Even if you think it's not that important, call them anyways if you have any kind of answers. So that way they can find this little boy. And I would say bring him home, but I think he deserves to be with an actual family that loves him. And it doesn't sound like this mother or stepfather does. But anyways, that is a sad video coming from Crime Center. And I hope it was informative, and I hope someone out there can help. Until next time, stay tuned.